Shalom and welcome to another episode of GMS Walk and Talk, here to feed the elect through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Today's lesson, I'm going to talk about among the nations. Yeah, this lesson is to explain that the nation of Israel, by the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, would be scattered among all the nations. And that's a sign of the Lord taking away our power as a nation. The fact that we were scattered among those nations. And then, not only were we scattered, the scriptures say that we would not be reckoned among the nations. That's the next scripture I'm going to get into, meaning we would not be recognized or accepted among the nations. All right? So no matter how good we are in whatever endeavor we do, in whatever field we do, you know, you that's of the tribes, beginning with the tribe of Judah all the way down to the tribe of Issachar, you wouldn't be accepted by those other nations. You wouldn't even be recognized, really, for what you've done by those other nations. And that's part of that curse. You know, us being scattered is a curse, and us not being recognized by those other nations compounds the curse.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I'm looking for the right word to say compounds the curse, adds to the curse. All right, so let's take a look at the book of Numbers, see what it says. Yeah, we're in the book of Numbers, the 23rd chapter. I'm going to read the 8th to the 10th verse. It says, now this is dealing with Balaam and Balak, which Balak was a Moabite king, and Balaam was a man of another nation that Balak hired to try to curse Israel, you know, put a curse on the nation of Israel. Now, this is what Balaam said to Balak. He said, starting at the 8th verse, how shall I curse whom the Most High have not cursed? Which in actuality, the Lord did put a curse on us as a nation, but it wasn't Balaam's job to curse Israel, him being of another nation. Only the Most High can do that, you know. Or how shall I defy whom the Lord have not defied? For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone. Now the people he's talking about here is the nation of Israel, the Israelites. What does it mean, shall dwell alone? Well, as you read the next verse, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. So that's that curse, you know.
Right.
Beginning with the tribe of Judah, so you so-called Negroes, all the way down to you so-called Mexicans, those other nations are not going to accept you. They're not going to recognize you, or you're not going to get, you might get partial recognition for what you've done, but you're not going to get total recognition.
Right.
Like, case in point, most of the major inventions of today was invented by the so-called black man.
Yep.
Does he get credit for it?
Nope.
No, he doesn't. The
white
traffic
man
light,
gets credit.
exactly. You could expound on
Yeah,
it.
the white man gets the credit for it, you know. So Jake doesn't get the credit. Why? Because that's part of the curses.
And that's what I'm reading here. It says, now this is what Balaam said to Balak. It says, from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. And you really feel that you're alone when you go in a room filled with the other nations. And especially you so-called Negroes, the way they look at you. They give you that look. All right? Hey, that's part of those curses, man.
That's right.
You know? And besides, we're not supposed to be accepted by those other nations. You know why? Because we're over those other nations. We're greater than those other nations, even though we were scattered among them.
That's right.
See, us being scattered among them was that curse that took away our power. like I was saying to Elder Ramlab, if you look at the hand, right? If you slap somebody, that's power. You know, some people can get hurt by a slap, but your fingers are all apart when you slap someone. But put your fingers together and form a fist and hit someone. That fist that you hit them will be a lot more powerful than that slap that you slap them with.
That's right.
So what the analogy I'm using is to show you that when you're scattered, that's less power than when you come together. That's more power.
That's right.
And this is what's happening. The Lord is sending his word among the other nations to gather, as we'll see in this lesson, to gather the elect, beginning with the elect first of the nation of Israel that has scattered among the other nations. And that's why when you read about Cornelius, that's what that's all about. That's what it's all about. All right? And I'm starting with the book of Numbers 23. I'm going to read 8 to 10. Now I'm in the 9th verse. Well, actually, I'm in the 10th verse. It says, who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth of Israel? So really, in reality, we're the biggest nation. There are more Israelites than there are any other nation. All right?
That's right.
And one thing you brothers got to understand is not all Israel is going to look like so-called Negroes. Not all Israel is going to look like the premier tribe, which is the tribe of Judah. What is the look of the tribe of Judah? Very, very dark skin and white woolly, or woolly hair. Not if he's older, he'll be white.
Yeah.
But woolly hair, all right? Woolly hair and dark skin. Well, not every Israelite is going to have woolly hair and dark skin.
That's right.
All right? Because we were scattered among all the nations. Now, if I was speaking to Elder Ramlab about this, if you have an Israelite that's scattered among so-called white people, what is he going to look like?
That's right.
If you have an Israelite that's scattered among the Chinese, what is he going to look like? All right? So that's...
one to grow on.
Yeah, that's something you got to keep in mind. All right, the 10th verse, who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous. And that right there, Balaam is letting Balak know that Israel is the righteous. Because he said, let me die the death of the righteous. And let my last end be like his. So what is our last end going to be like? Glorious.
Yep, the kingdom.
Right, the kingdom. Glorious. Right? Now the next scripture I want to go to is the book of Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. I'm going to read the 27th to the 31st verse. All right, Deuteronomy 4 and 27 to 31. It says this, it says, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land. It's talking about our Israel, the nation of Israel, which did happen to us. We're not in our land right now. So we have perished from off the land. 70 AD was the turning point. After 70 AD, you had something called the diaspora, which another word for diaspora is what? Scattered. So we were scattered off our land. Now who has our land now? The so-called Jews, which is of the nation of Edom.
Them Arabs.
And the so-called Arabs, which is of the nation of Ishmael, the Ishmaelites. So the Ishmaelites and the Edomites now have our land. All right, and they're both fighting over our land. All right, that ye shall soon utterly perish from off the land, whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. Now, another word for destroyed is destructure.
That's right.
All
My
right?
people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Destructure. In other words, the structure we once had is destroyed.
Right.
It has been destructured.
Right.
Right. So when you scatter people, essentially they're destroyed.
Right.
That people is destroyed. That's why we tell you about words,
Yeah, because if you have a building is all put together, but if you take that building apart,
It's destroyed.
it's destroyed. Right.
Destructured. All right? That's right. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations.
Boom.
See? This is the 27th verse in Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, the 27th verse. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen. Another word for the nations. Whither the Lord shall lead you. All right?
Right, and that's where knowing the difference between what heathen or what Gentile is talking about comes into play.
Right.
Because if you don't know what it's talking about, you're going to think that every time it says heathen or Gentile, it's talking about the other nations.
That's right. And that's what the epistles of Paul was all about. And then you got, like Peter said about Paul in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, the 16th verse, you got a lot of unlearned morons that don't understand what Paul was saying in those epistles.
That's right.
And don't understand who
he was talking to.
Paul was talking to in those epistles.
That's right.
All right? Like it says, they're unstable and they rest to their own destruction. Talking about those guys, you know?
Yep.
Reading on, it says, and the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, meaning the other nations, whither the Lord shall lead you. Like a good example is Cornelius. He was scattered among the nations.
Yep.
All right? And not only Cornelius, but his household also. That's why when Peter went to him, Peter had said that, well, let me see. Let me go to Acts. You shall hear words
whereby you and your household shall be saved.
Household shall be saved.
That's right.
All right.
And I'll be that, because that was, see, when you understand the scriptures correctly, that was the beginning of the Lord bringing back the Israelite foreigners. That was the very beginning of it.
And that's why in camp we went through the word or the definition of Cornelius, because we always talk about Norman Oman. And Cornelius, the name Cornelius means seed, coming from the word kernel, which means seed. It was Elder Tower brought that out, because the scholars will tell you, the so-called scholars will tell you that the word Cornelius means horn. No, the word Cornelius means seed. Now everything starts with a seed. The seed germinates, then it grows into a tree. So Cornelius was what? He was the premier guy to get the truth and to push. And I'm sure when he got the truth, he did right with it. He went out and taught as many as he could of Israelite foreigners. He went out and taught them about what he learned from Peter.
That's right.
Right? I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yeah, no, because that's true. Because it said that he was a devout man, and he was of good report among the Jews. Because even the Jews were looking at him sideways. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Now somebody that don't understand, they'll read that and they'll think that it's talking about that Cornelius was of another nation. But nah, it was basically because any Israelite that wasn't following the law, statutes, and commandments back then, or what them wicked Pharisees and Sadducees deemed to be righteousness, they would look at him down. They would look at him with disdain. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
So, you know, the bottom line is that was the beginning of Israel, the Israelite foreigners coming back to the fold through Cornelius.
That's right. Yeah, I found the scriptures actually in Acts, the 11th chapter, and it beginning at the 13th verse. It says, and he showed us how he had seen an angel in his house, who stood and said unto him, send men to Joppa, and call for Simon, whose surname is Peter, who shall tell thee words whereby thou and all thy house shall be saved. And I was talking about Cornelius, all right? Not just Cornelius, but his house also shall be saved. Saved from what? The destruction. So Cornelius is back, and the same household that was back there of Cornelius, they're back now. And they're gonna receive that same word that's gonna save them from the coming destruction. Which the word is only given to who?
Israel.
The nation of Israel. All right? So going back to Deuteronomy 4 and 20, now I'm in 28 now. It says, and there, wherever you Israelites were scattered, ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Now the main so-called God you Israelites are worshiping now, being that we were scattered among the Edomites, is Caesar Borgia.
That's right.
All right? Back then, when the Israelites were scattered among the Babylonians, what God were they worshiping? Or so-called gods. Right, the Babylonian gods. Right? And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell.